This is the CBS Evening News with Connie Chung in Los Angeles and Dan Rather in New York.
Good evening. America's television schedule tonight features a self-help program starring the President of the United States. With his popularity poll numbers down, Mr. Clinton has called a rare primetime news conference to talk up his accomplishments and try to rescue the centerpiece of his administration, health insurance reform. CBS News White House correspondent Rita Braver is standing by live with a preview. Rita?
Dan, tonight's news conference is designed to focus on the president's priorities like health reform and the crime bill, and to show that the president is not afraid to fight for his programs, a theme he's been sounding all week.
We didn't say, vote for me in a representative form of government, and I will make all the necessary decisions to solve the problems of the country, except those that are difficult, controversial, and make people mad.
Worried about the president's low public approval ratings, the White House has developed a new strategy for him. Fewer off-the-cuff remarks, comments restricted to controlled settings where he seems more presidential, and a White House team constantly talking up successes, like the president's deficit reduction package.
And I will remind you again, there were many who said that that plan would never pass, and if it did, it would destroy the economy, expand the recession, destroy jobs. None of that came to pass.
The White House insists the president has never flagged in his commitment to average Americans. Today at a healthcare rally, he broke out in tears as John Cox told how his wife delayed treatment for stomach cancer because they could not get health insurance.
And so we buried her Monday. And I'm here today to tell Congress that right is right.
But despite the president's best intentions, Democrats and Republicans alike believe the administration has failed to define itself. Washington Post columnist E.J. Dionne says Whitewater contributed to the problem.
It distracted the White House from other work that needed to be done, and I think people lost the thread of the Clinton presidency. He had been elected because the middle class was uneasy about its economic status, and Clinton promised to do something about it. We've lost that sense, I think.
At tonight's news conference, the president is also expected to get some questions on some of the foreign policy issues that have been haunting him of late. And there is a lot riding on this news conference as the president tries to convince Americans that he is still the right person to lead the country, Dan.
Rita Braver, live at the White House. Connie?
For an illustration of the president's problems, you need look no further than Capitol Hill. While the president was prodding Congress today for action on health care reform, both houses were holding hearings on Whitewater. And if Mr. Clinton isn't losing sleep over this, Deputy Treasury Secretary Roger Altman certainly is. Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer is covering the hearings.
The health freeze is over to answer every question you want to ask.
And he nearly did. It was 2 this morning and cleaning crews were moving in when Altman wound up more than 10 hours before the Senate Banking Committee. By 9:30, the weary witness was before a testy session of the House Banking Committee. Through it all, Altman maintained he'd done nothing wrong when he gave the White House status reports on the Whitewater investigation. And he told House members he had no intention of resigning.
I do not intend to do that.
But he may have to.
I think Roger Altman should resign, and resign today.
That was the first call from a Democrat, and as Altman's boss, Treasury Secretary Benson, was called before the Senate today, senators in both parties said Altman simply hadn't given them a straight story about his role in all of this.
Mr. Altman, it seems to me, is the kind of guy, if he's on a sinking ship, throws the women and children over.
All but accusing Altman of lying, D'Amato said the Treasury officials' answers to the committee directly conflicted with the sworn testimony of no fewer than 9 people, including Treasury lawyer Gene Hansen, federal regulator William Roulet, White House aides Harold Ickes, Maggie Williams, and John Podesta, and Treasury aide Josh Steiner. Altman's performance also drew a reprimand from the committee's Democratic chairman.
I think that's a problem we can't have again from anybody in the Treasury Department, whether it's Mr. Altman, Mr. Steiner, or anybody else that comes before this committee.
Benson offered no defense of Altman's veracity, but he said there was nothing improper about telling the president's aides about the Whitewater probe. He did concede it had all gotten a bit cozy.
Clearly, in retrospect, it might have been better if some of these meetings or contacts had not taken place.
Benson emerged unscathed, but there's a growing feeling here now that Altman will be leaving soon. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
One of the more persistent questions in the Whitewater case is what exactly happened to Vince Foster's files on the case after his suicide. There is new information on that now tonight, and correspondent Bill Plant has that part of the Whitewater story.
The White House has confirmed that the documents, which included one file marked Whitewater, were among those in Deputy Counsel Vince Foster's office after his death. 2 days later, on Thursday, Counsel Bernard Nussbaum sorted through the papers in Foster's office and gave the first couple's personal files to Hillary Rodham Clinton's chief of staff, Margaret Williams, to pass on to the Clintons' personal attorney. Williams and an aide took the box from Foster's office in the West Wing to a third-floor office in the residence, where it remained locked in the closet until the following Tuesday. Mrs. Clinton, in her news conference last spring, avoided the specifics of the file transfer.
And there were these personal files of ours that went to our lawyer.
The Clintons' personal attorney, David Kendall, said no one looked at the documents while they were at the White House, and that they were taken there because everyone, including the lawyer, was going to Foster's funeral the next day in Little Rock. But now the White House has had to admit that it was not candid about the fact that the files were sidetracked.
In hindsight, we should have been more clear about exactly what the chain of custody on those documents was, and I think that was a mistake.
A veteran of White House damage control says it would have been better to tell the whole story before it was leaked.
Well, there seems to be a pattern of not coming forward with documents and information in these cases. And worse, even when they're forced to do it, they don't seem to learn and do it right the next time.
The handling of the documents from Foster's office is still being investigated by special counsel Robert Fisk, and so it can't be discussed at the Whitewater hearings. But the White House says that Fisk has known all along that those files were at the White House over that weekend. Bill Plant, CBS News, the White House.
Still to come on the CBS Evening News from Los Angeles and New York. Another major accident shakes up Amtrak. We'll have a late report from the scene.
And refugees from Rwanda, building a city where they may not be welcome.
When I get gas, I may look like this, but I feel like this, painfully bloated.
GasX has the most powerful medicine to fight gas faster than antacids.
So I feel like me again.
Painful gas needs the power of GasX.
It's a great time to be silver because you're over 50 and you haven't lost your edge. Now there's a Centrum made just for you. Centrum Silver for your changing nutritional needs. Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
It was 1 a.m. I'm hurting, I can't sleep, and I'm worried about taking something. Is it okay? What am I going to feel like in the morning? Finally, I take Tylenol PM. It stops my pain, it helps me sleep, and next morning, I am up with the sun and I feel great. Poor old Ralph can't even keep up. And I'm thinking, it's going to be a beautiful day.
Rest easy. It's Tylenol PM.
Here in Los Angeles, CBS News has learned the identity of a so-called mystery witness in the O.J. Simpson case, the man who reportedly claimed he saw two white men running from the murder scene. CBS News has been told the mystery witness is a con man and convicted felon named Frank Cicciolo, who has given police false leads in other cases, including the Polly Klaas kidnapping. Cicciolo is from Northern California. Sheriff's deputies there say he lives in a fantasy world.
More than 100 passengers were injured and more than a dozen are still in the hospital tonight from another derailment of an Amtrak Express. It happened in upstate New York in the dead of night at 75 miles an hour. Correspondent Bob Orr is on the scene.
Amtrak's Lakeshore Limited was midway between Rochester and Buffalo, New York, when passengers were jolted in the middle of the night.
It was a violent shaking, and it lasted a long time.
It was scary. There were no lights.
The train, carrying more than 350 people from New York to Chicago, ran off the tracks in a wooded stretch of countryside. 9 of the train's 18 cars slid down an embankment on their sides.
All the seats broke loose and all the iron and everything was banging everybody.
And the whole top of the car was crushed.
A third of the train's passengers were hurt, the most seriously taken by choppers to nearby hospitals. This is the 5th major Amtrak accident in less than a year. None of the others has been Amtrak's fault. And the railroad officials insist the series of wrecks is just a string of bad luck. While federal investigators don't know what caused this derailment, they do have reports from crew members of a freight train who saw sparks coming from the bottom of the Amtrak train shortly before the accident. And there are signs at the crash scene to support that.
What you see are basically gouge marks in the ties, and it's an indication that at least one truck of one car was derailed for that whole period of time.
Freight trains are moving again tonight, and the wreckage will soon be cleared. But the damage to Amtrak's reputation will be hard to repair.
It was just a horrible experience. That was my first ride on an Amtrak train, and that's how it ended.
Bob Orr, CBS News, Batavia, New York.
The government wants more Americans to use automobile safety belts, so today it gave car manufacturers 3 years to make the belts more comfortable and convenient. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says seat belts saved more than 5,300 lives last year.
There are signs tonight that recent hikes in interest rates are doing what they were intended to do, slow down the economy. The government says the index of leading economic indicators rose just 0.2% in June. Still, the manufacturing sector of the economy remains strong. Factory orders were up for the 4th straight month. A mixed day on Wall Street. Overall, more gainers than losers, but the blue chips were hit by profit-taking, and the Dow lost nearly 4 points.
My basic love of dogs and my experience breeding dogs makes me enjoy my career as a veterinarian even more.
David Qualls, top breeder of champion Siberian Huskies and doctor of veterinary medicine.
We give our dogs pedigree as a source of meat in their diet. When you open a can of Choice Cuts, there's big meaty chunks and a rich brown gravy. You can really smell the meatiness. Pedigree contains no soy. Pedigree is a very digestible and very nutritious dog food. For my money, Pedigree is the best dog food you can buy.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
New? What's new about Nutri-Grain?
Taste! We got taste! We got a whole new taste! Lots of taste!
We got big fat raisins,
crunchy almonds, lightly sweetened flakes! Taste! Great taste! Yes, it's present all over our face! Once we were bland and loved, but now we're old and loved, 'cause Nutri-Grain has
Oh, it's got new Kellogg's Nutri-Grain cereal.
Tonight, get creative at Red Lobster. Create your own shrimp dinner, just $9.99.
Choose any 3 kinds of shrimp you love best, like succulent grilled shrimp, tender fried shrimp, savory scampi,
Or try something different.
like luscious honey barbecue, or tangy lemon pepper shrimp. Choose any 3 and create your own shrimp dinner, just $9.99, only for a limited time. So hurry in now.
And create your own shrimp dinner at Red Lobster.
Christina is homeless. She dreams of living at this soon-to-close military base. Izzy owns a home nearby. He has a dream, too.
Private money coming in, redeveloping the site.
What you have here is a conflict, folks. But wait till you hear how many of your tax dollars they want to spend to resolve it. Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
The Serbs of Bosnia tonight are still holding out against an international peace plan. This despite mounting pressure from the West and now also some pressure from their allies in Russia and inside Serbia itself. Bosnian Serb leaders say they want to hold a referendum on the plan. And as CBS News correspondent Alan Pizzi reports tonight, they're also resisting with armed force.
They're running for their lives again in Sarajevo. After nearly 6 months of what passed for a ceasefire, the snipers are cranking up the tension towards what many fear will be a new and more savage stage of the Balkan War. UN troops are helpless to do more than watch. But the Serbs did back off from a threat to seize heavy weapons held under UN supervision after being told any such attempt would be met with force. On the front lines of UN-protected areas like Gorazda, UN positions are right beside those of the Serbs, who want to recapture the ruins of their old houses from the Muslims. The UN commander said lifting the arms embargo on the mainly Muslim Bosnian forces to counter Serb intransigence would have dire consequences.
The nations who contribute troops do not wish to see their troops drawn into a war. And many contributing nations, including my own, have said that they would have to withdraw their troops in those circumstances.
Heavy firing rocked a so-called UN safe zone in Sarajevo overnight. The UN has again threatened airstrikes if the Serbs take action, which endangers the status quo. Firefights in the ruins of Sarajevo don't qualify. And nobody, it seems, can stop the snipers on either side. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, London.
In Haiti, a campaign of terror continues against opponents of the military-backed regime. 2 more bodies were found today in the capital. More than 400 people have been killed this year in a political war against supporters of exiled President Aristide. The U.S. is now threatening an invasion to remove the military and restore Aristide to power. In Africa, the U.S. and the UN are facing a no-win situation as they try to help 1 million refugees from Rwanda. Conditions are gradually improving for the refugees in Zaire. But as CBS News correspondent Barry Peterson reports, that makes it harder to convince them to go home to Rwanda.
By morning light, they bring back the wood to keep the home fires burning. And across the camps, there are more and more homes. Sinzagat Jandeya has a family of 7. I'll stay until it's safe, he says. Maybe I'll be here forever.
The world may be wondering why people want to stay in these camps, but around here the question is, why leave? The camps are becoming more like a city every day with everything that people need for a normal life.
Welcome to Africa's newest Main Street, with restaurants, open-air shopping where free relief food now has a price, clothes for him and her, tobacco being cured, everything from shoe repair to radio repair. You can even step right up for a shave and a haircut.
They're just so fearful, and even if it's okay, that the memories are so awful that they never want to see it again. And I think we have to prepare ourselves to be providing services here for quite a long time. Now, gently.
Not even the death from dysentery is scaring them away. And the worldwide relief effort is now working so well, even U.S. soldiers wonder if it's having the wrong long-term effect.
I mean, they're going to come where the water is, and we're bringing the water the opposite of which way we want them to go.
President Clinton promised American help until the refugees return home, but getting them to move anytime soon may no longer be in the cards. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Kabumba Refugee Camp, Zaire.
Jordan's King Hussein took an aerial tour of Jerusalem today, courtesy of his new partners in peace, the Israeli government. The king, a veteran pilot, flew into Israeli airspace for the first time on his way home from London. Prime Minister Rabin greeted him from the ground. The king's plane circled the Muslim holy places of Jerusalem, escorted by Israeli fighter jets.
Stay with us for more of the CBS Evening News, including the 1st Cavalry Division to the rescue against wildfires in the West.
Cleanse yourself with 100% soap-free and fragrance-free Alpha Hydrox. Refresh yourself with a natural Alpha Hydrox solution that can reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. Moisturize yourself with products to nurture and protect your beautiful new skin. Save yourself with amazingly effective Alpha Hydrox products under $10 each. Now you know the naked truth about skincare. The cleansers, treatments, and moisturizers of Alpha Hydrox.
Like food, you get heartburn. You take Maalox. Life is good.
And don't forget great tasting Maalox tablets too.
My doctor said I didn't need surgery for my hemorrhoids. They weren't serious, and to use Preparation H.
Preparation H, trusted by millions to often help relieve the hemorrhoidal symptoms of itching, burning, and painful irritation for hours. Trust doctor-recommended Preparation H.
Today, there's Protegra, the all-antioxidant vitamin mineral supplement with more vitamin E, C, and beta-carotene. To boost your antioxidant levels, even if you take a multivitamin, add Protegra, the good news in antioxidants.
Is the gray in your mustache or beard making you look too old? Now there's Just for Men Brush-In Color Gel, specially for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. This brush-in gel stays put to penetrate hard-to-color hair. In 5 minutes, rinse. Your mustache or beard blends with your natural hair color, and it won't fade or wash out.
Now that's a lot better.
Just for Men Color Gel from the leader in men's hair coloring.
These two brothers had no one to protect them from the abuse. Did they have to kill their father to save themselves? 48 hours tonight.
The Clinton administration's anti-crime bill is having tough going in the House of Representatives, and expected vote apparently has been delayed until at least Friday. Opponents left and right continue to object to certain provisions, and supporters of the bill want to make sure they can pass it.
In the West today, the raindrops were welcome, but they barely made a dent in the campaign to put out dozens of wildfires scorching the region. Washington State's biggest fire in 65 years grew to 105,000 acres. Correspondent Sandra Hughes in Seattle surveys the damage.
Overnight, raindrops were the first sign of relief in two states ravaged by wildfires. But it was only a short respite, not enough to replenish what 3 years of drought and a summer of exceptional heat have done in central Washington. Across 6 western states, firefighters are still battling 19 blazes that have burned more than 171,000 acres. In Washington, lightning strikes continue to ignite fires, and although no one has been injured here, at least 2 towns, Chelan and Leavenworth, are surrounded by fire.
Wish it hadn't gotten this far, but we've said our prayers. The rest in the Lord's hands.
The firefighters are worn out. They can do little more than burn fire lines and hope the flames don't jump them. Today, troops from Fort Hood, Texas, arrived in Idaho to relieve the weary firefighters.
Everybody's kind of looking forward to it. You know, it's a nice change of pace, and if we can help out, then I guess everybody's kind of glad to do it. So.
Troops from Camp Pendleton, California have already arrived and are waiting to go into the fire zones.
That's because this is just the beginning of the fire season in the Northwest. Mother Nature holds all the cards. More hot and dry weather could spawn more fires. Some predict the fires won't be completely extinguished until the snow falls. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Seattle.
The two sides in the Major League Baseball talks met today in New York but reported no progress, with a threatened strike only 9 days away. They will meet again tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who joined the National League 107 years ago, were put up for sale today. The owners say they have lost millions of dollars.
Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, why being jobless in Germany is something to be envied by many working Americans.
It's an amazing feat. And of course, it's Price Pfister who engineered it. A never-before fusion of style, technology, and price. Featuring a fantastic lifetime valve that makes fail-proof faucets both possible and affordable. So fail-proof, they'll work flawlessly forever. Fail-proof, affordable, forever yours, Price Pfister. The fabulous faucet with the funny name.
Frankly, I am concerned about this national health plan. There is an obvious oversight. Me. So, write Congress and demand Whiskas Original Crave Recipe. It gives your scruffy furballs 100% of the nutrition they need and the chicken, tuna, and milk protein they love. So, they stay healthy and I stay alive.
Cats love new Whiskas Original Crave Recipe. Cats would buy Whiskas.
Cats know nothing about politics.
How can something non-alcoholic taste this good, huh?
Funny you should ask, Jim. Old Milwaukee starts with fully fermented beer and uses this Centrotherm with its unique rotating evaporator system to carefully remove the alcohol.
So, full-bodied beer flavor is never compromised?
Exactly, that's the beauty of the Centrotherm.
For a non-alcoholic brew that tastes like beer, it doesn't get any better than this.
Who said that?
Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers have a system for repairs. The focal point is the service advisor. He's the primary customer contact in diagnosing problems and allocating all the resources to get the job done in the quickest, most economical way.
This in and we'll get this car on the road.
He can help save you time, he can help save you money, and you can only find him at a Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealer. Quality care, where the quality continues.
The current unemployment rate in eastern Germany stands at almost 15%. While things are better in the former West Germany, being out of work in that country can beat having a job for many Americans. CBS News economics correspondent Ray Brady has the pros and cons in this report from Berlin.
Germany. It's traditionally prided itself on a high standard of living. And behind the music, the wine, there are lavish social benefits. Even a poor man may have a satellite dish, and that's not all.
One of the things that shocks Americans is the generous way the German system takes care of its unemployed. They are better off than America's working poor.
Schlecht für die Amerikaner. That's too bad for the Americans.
In Berlin, Ramona Beilish's husband Klaus is not working, but that's no problem.
I receive the equivalent of $820 a month in unemployment benefits, plus $73 a month in child support allowances, plus an extra $165 a month in social benefits, including subsidies for the rent.
An ocean away in Baltimore, Maryland, Rendell Drayton actually works for less than the $529 that Klaus Beilish gets every 2 weeks for not working.
After taxes, about $420.
She's a single mother of 2 who got herself off welfare.
You have medical coverage, but your children don't.
Right.
Do you get daycare?
Because I'm working, they cut me off.
If he took a job like that, it wouldn't be worth it because of all the benefits we are receiving.
In fact, Klaus Beilish recently turned down a job paying the equivalent of $9 an hour. That would be good money for Rendell Drayton. She makes $7 an hour.
What would you think if I told you that in Germany a person not working will have a higher income, medical benefits, everything, that you don't have working?
I would want to go to Germany.
Not so fast.
The Germans have to adjust to what the rest of the world is doing.
What do you see this social system doing to the German economy now?
It's hindering. It's a drag.
Like Americans, Germans must now compete against low-cost foreign labor. One reason many believe the German system will start to resemble the more modest U.S. system rather than the other way around. Ray Brady, CBS News, Berlin.
And that's part of our world tonight. I'll be back at 8 Eastern Time, 7 Central, with President Clinton's primetime news conference. Then, 30 minutes after that news conference, America Tonight investigates the Florida abortion clinic murders and talks to a wounded survivor. And on 48 Hours, we'll have the story of 2 children terrorized by their father, finally shooting him to death. 48 Hours, the shame of Rush Springs. That's tonight, right after America Tonight.
And Dan and I will see you again tomorrow on the CBS Evening News. Thank you for joining us and for all of us at CBS News. Good night. Good night,
Good night,
Dan.
everyone.
Experience CBS News.
Christina is homeless. She dreams of living at this soon-to-close military base. Izzy owns a home nearby. He has a dream, too.
Private money coming in, redeveloping the site.
What you have here is a conflict, folks. But wait till you hear how many of your tax dollars they want to spend to resolve it. Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
The CBS Evening News isn't just a place with a